Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Today we will start the very important topic from the title Basic Concept, some basic concept in chemistry. And today's topic is law of chemical combination. So I will write here law of chemical combination, or actually laws of chemical combination. Okay. So what we what we can learn from this term laws of chemical combination. So to understand this, we will have one example. Let us consider respiration. We take oxygen by respiration. Oxygen goes to our lungs. In lungs, it interacts with the blood sacs, and there it goes to the cell, to the body cell, various cells through the blood, hemoglobin, heme. Okay, and this oxygen combined with carbon, and it form carbon dioxide and energy. Energy is utilized by the body and CO2 expelled outside the body, right? This is the reaction. So laws of chemical combination is divided into five laws. There are five total laws in which we can understand how these reaction takes place. We have taken the example of respiration, oxygen combined with the carbon inside the body, and CO2 comes out. So CO2 is the product which is being formed during the respiration by combination between carbon and oxygen. Okay, so laws of chemical combination states that the elements combine with each other with the different ratios and they form the compounds. But these laws, this chemical combination laws are divided into five types of laws. So I will write here five types of law. The first law is law of mass conservation. Law of mass conservation. Law of mass conservation. Second law is law of definite proportions. Law of definite proportions. Third law is law of multiple proportions. Law of multiple proportions. Next law is Gay-Lussac law. Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volume. Okay, Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volume. And the last and very important law is Avogadro's law. So there are five laws. So we will discuss this five laws today. One by one we will take. What is the meaning of law of mass conservation? It is a very important law. This law says that mass of reactant, in fact total mass, is equal to total mass of product, is equal to total mass of product. This is the law of mass. We will take the example. What is the meaning of law of definite proportion? Law of definite proportion is also called as law of definite composition. It says that if we take two samples, one is from nature and one is from man-made or synthetic, same compound if we are taking, for example, you can take methane from the natural source, from petroleum, and methane we can make in the lab. So both, if they are the same compounds, methane from the different sources, this law says that in the two different samples of same compound, let us take methane here. So if you take methane from the petroleum resource, this is natural, and one let us consider from our lab, synthetic one. So if you find out the percentage masses, means how many carbon is there, what is the percentage of carbon there in the methane of natural source, and what is the percentage of hydrogen in the methane from the natural source, will be exactly equal to the synthetically prepared methane in the lab. Okay, we will discuss that. What is the meaning of law of multiple proportion? Law of multiple proportion states that when elements combine and they form the products, right? They form the products. Multiple proportion law says that when elements combine with each other in the chemical reaction and they form the product. So if two reactants are there, A and B, and A and B are reacting and making many compounds, two or more compounds, then if you take A and B, so one of the reactant reacts with another reactant in a different reactions, having the ratio of a small whole number. Just have a brainstorming, then we will explain it. Gay-Lussac law. It is nothing but the extension of multiple proportions law. Gay-Lussac's law talk about only the gaseous volume. It says that reactant in gaseous state or gaseous reactants, they react and they produce products, and the volume of the one of the reactant will be in the smallest whole or small whole number. We will see the example. And Avogadro's law is the very important law. It gives you the key of this whole idea of law of chemical combination. Avogadro's law says that at constant temperature and pressure, equal volume of 2, 3, 4 gases, or your wish, you can take 2 gas, 3 gas, 4 gas, different gases. So at constant temperature and pressure, gases with equal volume contain equal number of molecules. Okay, and from there he has given the concept of moles. So we'll see one by one. So these are the five laws. You write also. Okay, you have to write all these in your notes, or you can, I will share this video, you can watch video also. Now let us go for first one. So we will see what is the meaning of law of mass conservation. Okay, what is the meaning of law of mass conservation? It states that law of mass conservation states that so total mass of reactant is equal to total mass of product products, no problem. Okay, if more than one product, so we can write products, right? So this is the basic mathematical expression of this law of mass conservation. But let us take example and we will explore this idea. See, so there was a French scientist in 1780s, 1790s, Lavoisier, Antoine Lavoisier. Antoine Lavoisier, or you can say Lavoisier. Okay, in 1734 his date of birth, and he died in 1794. Antoine Lavoisier is also called as father of modern chemistry. So what he did, this Lavoisier was a French chemist, or we can say scientist. So Lavoisier carefully has performed few experiments, and he has performed the experiment of combustion reaction. He has performed the experiment of combustion reaction. What is a combustion reaction? The reaction in which we burn some material, or when we burn the material in the presence of air, or we can supply the air, excess air, oxygen. So that reaction is called as combustion reaction. And we know the combustion reaction always results in the formation of oxides. That's all. Okay. So combustion reaction. Right. So see here, this combustion reaction. So this Lavoisier has taken phosphorus, symbol P. Phosphorus, its symbol is P, and he has used Hg, mercury, and he used excess amount of air, and Lavoisier used this phosphorus and mercury, and he observed very carefully. He observed that after the combustion reaction completion, he collected the burned phosphorus and he calculated the weight, he counted the weight of the phosphorus, burned phosphorus, and he found that there is the increase in the combusted material of phosphorus and mercury. And he has repeated this experiment. Lavoisier has repeated this experiment, and he came to know that the increase in the amount or increase in the weight after combustion of phosphorus and mercury is exactly equal to the weight of air loss, or loss of weight from the air. And he concluded that this idea कि total mass of a reactant is equal to the total mass of the product formed. See, suppose phosphorus, he has consumed 1 gram, suppose, for our idea, 1 gram, 10 gram. Suppose he has used 10 gram phosphorus, and he has used 10 gram phosphorus. Okay. Suppose he has used 10 gram phosphorus, and he has subjected this for combustion in the air, and suppose it is forming 12 grams. He has used 10 grams, suppose, and it formed after combustion 12 grams. So 2 gram extra comes from where? It comes from the air. So 2 gram from air, 10 gram from phosphorus. So with the reactant, we can write this phosphorus reacting with air, and suppose it is forming phosphorus product. Suppose I will not write the formula. Suppose product, combustion reaction. Suppose for our consideration, suppose it was a 10 gram, and after the completion of combustion we got 12 grams, so it means that air was 2 grams. So 10 plus 12, this is the reactant, 12 total weight 12, and the product weight is 12. So this is the what law of mass conservation. And he stated that according to Lavoisier, he stated that law of mass conservation is mass. I will write here mass. Exact words are very important. Mass can neither be created. Mass can neither be created nor destroyed. This is called as law of mass conservation. In many exams, you will find the statement of French scientist Lavoisier. Lavoisier stated that law of mass conservation. So you should know this exact word. Mass can neither be created nor destroyed. So this was the experiment of the carried out by Antoine Lavoisier about law of mass conservation. So you got the idea. Okay. So let us go for the another law, and it is called as second law. It is called as another law is law of definite proportion. Law of definite proportions. Second law. It is the second law. Law of definite proportion. It is the second law. It is also called as law of definite composition. Law of definite composition. Okay. So to understand this law of definite composition or law of definite proportions, there was a scientist. Again, he was a French scientist, Joseph Prost. So Joseph Prost, he was a French scientist, French chemist, we can say, or scientist, no problem. Actually, he has performed a very beautiful experiment to explain law of definite proportion in the very beautiful way. What he did, Joseph Prost, he had collected 2 samples of cupric carbonate. He has collected 2 samples of cupric carbonate. So I can write the name here, and we will write its formula. So see, don't get confused. Formula for our only understanding. You must remember the name. Formula you will understand as you will learn slowly. You will understand the formula also. So cupric copper, its formula is Cu, and carbonate is CO3. So cupric carbonate. This Joseph has taken this cupric carbonate. So actually this cupric carbonate is also available in the nature, and also we can prepare this into the lab. Okay. So this cupric carbonate, he has taken natural sample. Natural sample means the sample we have collected from the nature, maybe from the soil or some other places. And another sample was synthetic sample. What is synthetic sample? Means man-made, prepared in the lab. So he has, formula is not necessary to give, just name is important. Okay. Then cupric carbonate, and you can see here how many elements are there in the cupric carbonate. one is copper, one is carbon, and another is oxygen. Three types of elements are there. So here copper, and here carbon, and at the end we can add oxygen. So he has performed the experiment that he tried to find out the copper percentage in the natural sample. The sample he was collected from the nature. He tried to find out the percentage of copper. So we can say copper percentage, carbon percentage, and oxygen percentage. So first he carried out experiment to of finding the percentage of copper, carbon, and oxygen in the natural sample, and he found the results that natural sample contain 51.35% of copper out of 100%, and carbon percentage is found that natural sample contains 38.91, and oxygen percentage was 9.74. After having this data from his research lab, he has taken the synthetic sample and he tried to find out the same percentage. He tried to find out the percentage of copper in the synthetic sample, percentage of carbon, and oxygen in the synthetic sample, and he found that the percentage of copper was same in the synthetic sample. He also found that percentage of carbon was same, just 38.91, and percentage of oxygen was also exactly same. And from this point, he concluded that sample, if you have a sample, so any sample of same compound from two places, he has collected the one compound from two places, and he found that in the compound formation, the percentage of elements, say copper, carbon, oxygen, the percentage of elements or the elements always in the definite proportion. Okay, it means that suppose this is the natural sample, and in the laboratory if you are making the same cupric carbonate, so you will not get the different percentage. Synthetic cupric carbonate is different and the natural sample is different. No, this is called as the law of definite proportion. He stated that a given compound always, so that's all. So the statement is given compound, this is the statement of law of definite proportion, and you have to memorize this. Given compound always contain exactly the same proportions of elements. Exactly the same proportions of elements by weight. This is what the statement of law of definite proportion by Joseph Prost, and this is the explanation of law of definite proportion, right? This is the second law. There is a third law, so I think you understand this point. So third law is what? Third law says that it is about the law of multiple proportions. Law of multiple proportions. What is the law of multiple proportions? Law of multiple proportions, and it is again very important law. It is given by John Dalton. It is given by John Dalton. Okay, so I will write the first. I will write the statement, and we will explore this. Okay, what is the statement? The statement is very important. You have to remember this. Okay, so John Dalton says that when two elements consider A and B, when two elements let's be A and B, it is in his statement. Okay, so we have to memorize its statement as it is. Okay, so when elements A and B form more than one compound, when elements A and B form more than one compound, okay, comma, the masses, very important point, the masses of element B that combines with a given mass of A, are always in the ratio of very important. Okay, very important statement, we have to memorize this, right? Okay, are always in the ratio of small whole number. This is the statement. Don't worry, we will take example, but this statement has to be memorized by you, or if you are able to understand with examples, and so still we have to memorize, because the words are very important, given by John Dalton. It is his contribution, so we have to memorize the words. And once you understand this statement and memorize it, we can explore with many examples. So let us go for this. When elements A and B, he has taken elements A and B form more than one compound. If element A and B form more than one compound, then the masses of element B that combine with A, given mass of A, that combine with A, given mass of A, that combine with a given mass of A, are always in the ratio of a small whole number. Let us explain this. And you will understand it. Okay, so I will write it. Let us consider A and B two elements, or not elements all times, it can be molecules also. So let us have a hydrogen and oxygen. So I am writing here hydrogen, okay, and another one is oxygen. and it is forming water. It is forming water. Right? It is forming water. Right. Take one more idea. How we write hydrogen? What is the weight of hydrogen? We write hydrogen as a mass 1. Yesterday we have discussed this in our lecture. The atomic number of hydrogen is 1 and its mass is also 1. So its mass is 1. Its mass is 1. Let us take 1 gram. You can take 1 kg also. What is the mass of oxygen? Its mass of oxygen is 16. And what is the atomic number of oxygen? 8. And its mass is 16. So we are taking 16 grams. You can take 16 kg also. So if you are taking 16 kg, you should take 1 kg, right? So what is the mass of water? The mass of water is 18 grams. What is the mass of water? Mass of water is 18 grams. See, if you go to law of mass conservation, so the mass of reactant should be equal to mass of product, right? So here 18, but that's it, only 17. It means that hydrogen do not exist as H1, it is as H2 molecule, right? So we have to write here H2 molecule. What formula of water is H2O. Formula of water is H2O, so I can write here H2O. H2O. So this hydrogen is H2, oxygen is O. See, so this is giving the water. Okay, right. One more example. So we have to only then we understand this concept. Okay. So let us take again hydrogen, H2, and oxygen. Oxygen, and this gives hydrogen peroxide. This gives hydrogen peroxide. So what is the formula of hydrogen peroxide? H2O2. So I can add H2 means 2 gram. I can add 2 gram, yes. And what is the weight of one oxygen? 16. So there are 2 oxygen in the H2O2. So I have to write here 32 grams. 32 grams. And this will give what? How much amount this will give? It will give you 34. The weight of hydrogen peroxide is 34. Now let us explore this statement and we will try to understand this, right? So see here, what is the weight of A? Suppose this A and suppose this was B. So now apply the statement. When elements A and B form more than 2 compounds, here they are combining and forming the water, here they are forming the hydrogen peroxide. 2 different compounds are there. So then the masses of element B, masses of element oxygen, that combine with A, they are combining with A, that is a hydrogen. Given mass of A, how much is this? It is 2 grams, are always in the ratio of a small whole number. So this B, what is the mass of B? In this 16, in this 32. So I can write 16 is to 32. What is a small whole number? If you divide this by 16, so 1:2. This is called as the small whole number, and this is what? The law of multiple proportions.